Once again, it's Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. on YouTube. Live streaming, we live. What's up, everyone? I hope I am streaming. I might not be. If I am, whatever. We're going to do it anyway. All right. From flight to fight. Black heroes who changed the game. We're talking Milton L. Olive, John Mills, Bessie Coleman. All here tonight. We live. And I am your host, Mo 3 times. Let the children sing for moi. Yeah. Yes. Ramid was good. He's in here. Got you. Maybe that. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hit me with a what's up? What's going on, cuzzo? Yo, so to keep it honest with you, tonight, we continue to shine a light on the achievements of Americans who embody the sacrifice, exploration, and audacity of Black culture. Mo 3 times, that's me. I might consult the Trump tracker. I got a Trump tracker, and we might consult it so we can break down some of the latest moves from the Trump administration. Also, we're going to expose the jerkiness of former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio. Oh my goodness, just clap it up. Yeah, and then I'm going to recall an absolutely unhinged weekend at Bernie's stunt an airline pulled on its customers.
I can't control it.
I can't control it.
It's in my
I can't
family,
control it.
On this side. I can't control it.
I can't control it. It won't be controlled. But what's up? That's what we're doing this evening on Talking Shit, getting clicks. We live. And also, we do have a live call-in, so you can talk to the man himself, a.k.a. me, Mo 3 times. Or, as you can see, we got the chat rolling along.
Many people know them as the JumpOut boys in their city.
That's exactly what we call them. Gang, jump out gang. Let's jump right into it. I want to jump right into Bessie Coleman. Definitely. This lady that we're looking out here is Bessie Coleman. She was born in 1892 and she died in 1926. We'll get there. But she was born in Texas to a family of sharecroppers, and she grew up in poverty and faced a lot of systemic racism. So much so that she thought it was going to be a good idea to up and move to Chicago and work as a manicurist. She did them nails. Right? Now, while in Chicago, she became fascinated by stories of World War I pilots, especially Black soldiers who trained in France, and she was determined to be a pilot. But, of course, she's a woman, she's a Black woman, so she did face rejection from all American flight schools due to her race and gender. Boo! All right. Now, like I said, she was born from a family of sharecroppers, but once she was in Chicago, she was encouraged by the newspaper founder. His name is Robert Abbott. Robert Abbott. Let me see if I can find a picture of Robert Abbott. That's what I didn't do. Robert Abbott, Chicago Defender. Let me show you what he looks like. Somebody else that could definitely go up there. But this is who encouraged Bessie Coleman to do what she had to do. So, under his advice, she learned French and she applied to aviation schools in France. So in 1920, she traveled to Paris and trained at the Caudron Brothers School of Aviation. Let's look that up. We'll paste. Oh, look, they even got Bessie up there right now. Yeah, these are the type of planes Bessie was flying. I'm pretty sure these are more tougher to fly than what we got today with all the knobs, nozzles, and doohickeys. I don't know. Anyway, so in June, like a year later, June 15th, 1921, she earns her pilot license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, which is a still standing organization. It's the French version of the FAA that we have here in America. This is the French version. So she earns her pilot's license, thus becoming the first Black woman and first Native American woman to hold a pilot's license. That's right. Her dad was half Black and Indian. Her mother was full Indian. So she became the first Black woman and first Native American to hold a pilot's license. Now, upon returning to the United States, you already know, she became celebrated. She became what they call a barnstormer, which is a stunt pilot. And she would perform aerial tricks at air shows. Now, she was also known, and this is what a big if, and this is what gets her highlighted here today on We Live with Mo 3 times, is that Bessie Coleman absolutely was known to refuse to perform at any segregated event. And she dreamed of also opening up a flight school for Black aviators to challenge racial barriers in aviation. Now, tragically, on April 30th, 1926, while preparing for an air show in Jacksonville, Florida, Coleman was a passenger in a Curtiss JN-4 Jenny biplane. And I am going to show you what one of those looks like right now. I did see this picture earlier. Here's what they look like. She was flying one of these suckers here, right? And she was with her, she wasn't flying at the time. It was piloted by her mechanic. His name was William D. Willis. And around 3,000 feet, the plane flipped over due to a mechanical failure. And while the plane flipped over, Coleman was ejected and she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. And they estimate she fell like 2,000 feet to her death. The aircraft crashed, and Willis was also killed. They came to find out that there was a wrench stuck in the engine. So her life was cut short. I mean, Coleman's legacy paved the way to future Black aviators, including the Tuskegee Airmen, and she remains an enduring symbol of determination, breaking racial and gender barriers in aviation. Give it up for one, the only Bessie Coleman. Talking shit, getting clicks from flight to fight. Black heroes who changed the game. We just got done talking about Bessie Smith. Pretty cool. Cool story, right? You know what I find amazing about, like, it's becoming a theme here, like, that I've done these subjects, like, when people really, really wanted to do something, Black people in America wanted to do something that wasn't allowed in America, they found a little bit more autonomy and freedom over in Europe, specifically France. A lot of people went to France. I'm trying to think of the name. Yeah, the late great Quincy Jones went over to France because in America he was dealing with a lot of racism and found that he was a little bit more accepted in France. He used to play the trumpet back in the day. I watched Ray with Jamie Foxx, starring Jamie Foxx. I did. Little movie stuffs. Right. All right, now let's not get it. Listen. I am celebrating Black History Month all year round. So each and every week we go on live. I'm going to tell you at least one historical figure, past, present, or future. But with that, this month has been crazy for everything. And as we take a step back from our Black History Month celebration to check the temperature of our outside United States culture. Oh, wow. I'm on one. But as we do that, I just want to go through a couple things that interest me this week. But before I do, let me say what's up to the chat. Jump out, gang. How are you guys doing right now? Let me know. Anything new? I throw up a picture of there's Quincy Jones right there. More claps. We live. So yeah, we're definitely celebrating Black History Month today from Flight to Fight. We're talking about Bessie Coleman. And it's amazing. It's amazing that she was extremely determined to become a pilot. And she went to France, learned French to get to France to learn how to fly airplanes, and it's just amazing. 1892, coming from rural Texas, going to France, learning to fly a plane, and then coming back to the United States and traveling throughout the United States, performing stunts in your plane, inspiring other young people, black women, period, to say that, hey, maybe this is something I wanna look into. She is really the godmother of aviation in the United States, if not the queen of aviation. Before Amelia Earhart, it was Bessie Coleman. So with that, let me go. Oh man, listen, I'm gonna share this with you guys real quick, but hold on, let me set it up. Set this stuff up. I'm gonna go here. I want to switch this out here so we can set up the next. Boom. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna switch back here, and then I want to take this off of here. So then that's what we got. Yo, let me show you. Hopefully, let me unmute. I would like to unmute this.
Going to be putting a price.
Oh my goodness. Check this out.
Gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges. Plus,
I am just rolling in this. Oh, here we go.
Plus,
I don't know what happened there. Oh. Let's make it.
It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. We're going to be
I'll let it go one more time.
Selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges. Plus, it's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful.
Now, so you can basically buy your way into America now. Yay! Why are we cheering? Listen, President Donald Trump has announced a new immigration initiative offering gold cards for $5 million a pop. That is going to grant wealthy foreigners permanent U.S. residency and a pathway to citizenship. Now, This program aims to attract affluent individuals who can stimulate the U.S. economy through significant spending, tax contributions, and job creation, which is weird because Donald Trump is known for cutting taxes for his wealthy friends. They're cheering because I'm making a point. Anyway, the gold card is, oh Lord, the gold card is set to replace the existing EB-5 visa program, which required a lower investment and had been criticized for fraud and inefficiency. Doge shouldn't be on your job? Is this part of Doge's job? Because it sounds like they're just boosting the price for a little bit more fraud and inefficiency. Anyway, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick emphasized that that's who I was trying to find before. This jerk. He emphasizes that applicants would undergo a thorough vetting to ensure they are world-class global citizens. And it also said that the administration projects that selling up to 1 million of these cards could generate substantial revenue, potentially addressing the national debt. However, critics express concerns about security risks, potential corruption, and the ethics of commodifying citizenship. I guess that's where we are right now. We're on my blog, like the ethics of this all. But they're doing it. They're doing it, and I don't know how they're going to vet these people. It seems like me, if you got the cash, you're going to be able to come to America. Come to America. Now, if you were going to ask, like I meant, is this legal? Is it legal for him basically to sell Get Into America free cards? And the legality of Trump's proposed $5 million gold card program is uncertain. He said plus, too. So I'm wondering, was the plus like, excuse me, I'm going off course for a second, but was the plus like, does it add like a little diplomatic immunity? Like, can you just run people over with your car and kill people and not, be held to any type of justice or standards? Like, is that like an extra surcharge or something like that? How is this program going to work? Anyway, I was talking about the legality of it, and the program is uncertain. And it would depend on whether it aligns with the current U.S. immigration laws, the authority granted to the executive branch. Now, here are some legal considerations. Uno, congressional approval. The United States Constitution grants Congress the power to regulate immigration and naturalization. That's Article 1, Section 8. Now, there's also a new program, a new program selling green cards or citizenship would likely require congressional approval rather than being enacted unilaterally through like an executive action. And for existing immigration laws, we would be pretty remiss if I didn't tell you the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program already allows foreign nationals to obtain a green card by investing at least $800,000 to just over $1 million in U.S. businesses that create jobs. However, Trump's proposal seems to remove the job creation requirements and significantly increases the price, which would likely require legislative changes. And now we're going to have an extra million rich folk all up in America. But I also have to let you know that selling citizenship is prohibited. I mean, there's U.S. law that explicitly forbids selling citizenship. That's 8 U.S.C. 1427, and that requires lawful permanent residency and other qualifications for naturalization. Now, if the gold card provides a direct path to citizenship without following legal requirements, then it's probably going to face some legal challenges. But when you're in the leader of the executive branch of the United States of America and the Senate and Congress, and you own all the branches of government, then you can kind of do whatever you want. But that's just a proposal. It seems to me like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, for that fact, have a big history of brainstorming to the press. And I would say that while the president would have some authority over immigration policies, e.g., travel bans, TPS designations, I mean, creating a new class or visa or like citizenship for sale would probably, most likely, it is exceeding executive power. So, I mean, there's going to probably be some legal challenges from Congress, states' attorneys, civil rights groups. I do not know how many lawsuits are on the books right now that were started because of a Trump administration executive order that was either removed or put back in place. But there are plenty. We're probably getting up into like the early hundreds, right? So, here's some potential challenges to this. I think law opponents, lawmakers, advocacy groups, they're going to follow lawsuits, like I said. Even with the Republican-controlled Congress, I also think that they might push back, especially on ethics, or the optics of selling U.S. residency does not look good for anybody. And then there could be, and I'm going to say most importantly, for all of this shit that's going down with the Trump administration from now on forward, I think what should affect it is public backlash. I mean, that's all of us coming together, because if there's some significant public resistance to this, if he sees this in the chats on social, on Truth Social, or on X, then he might change his mind. Anyway, as it stands, Trump can't unilaterally implement this program without congressional approval. And if he attempts to do so with an executive order, it's going to the courts. Drop a flex on him. Gun cock.
Look at the face.
Look at the face. So that's what's going on with Donald Trump there. That was a little nuts over there. What else do I have before we get on to Milton? Oh man, I was watching this on Instagram the other day, and I just want to see if you guys saw what I saw. Look at this going on. These kids are out of control. All right. So, yes, a Texas middle school teacher is now on leave after a shocking classroom altercation caught on video.
To several classmates. The video shows a 7th grade male student slapping a Summer Creek middle school teacher during an altercation last Friday.
Wow, like, why did this happen? Why did they take it this?
After a student airdropped it to several classmates. The video shows a 7th grade male student slapping a Summer Creek middle school teacher during an altercation.
That's crazy. All right.
Last Friday.
Wow,
You saw, I believe that's a mom. You saw.
like, why did this happen? Why did they take it this?
After a student airdropped it to several classmates. The video shows a 7th grade male student.
Look at the smack. Listen, what's going on here is that there was a situation at Summer Creek Middle School. Where is that Texas? It's probably Texas. Yep, it's in Crowley, Texas. Boom. This is what we got here. It's principal. DI hire. He's a DI hire. I'm kidding. I'm being facetious. Very, very much so. Ooh. All right. So that's the principal. This is the school. This is what it looks like. I'm wondering. I am really wondering. When I see that video, that is just nuts. That's nuts. So yeah, Summer Creek Middle School. It sounds like it's going to be a spark of debate here. Okay, I mean, the slap. We saw the slap. It shows the video, the student slapping the teacher, and the context that led up to it wasn't really clear. It looks like I think I got an inkling that somebody was airdropping something throughout the class, so it's probably something going on between the students and the teacher. We don't really know, but we do see that there was a slap from a student, and then we got the punch. And the mother claims, I believe that was the mother in the video at the end, she claims the teacher punched her son, causing injuries. Not to mention yet whether there's video evidence of the actual punch. We see him swinging, but we don't know. We don't see any of the injuries or anything like that. And the mother says her son was taken into custody without receiving any medical attention. If true, that raises concern about the duty of care. So the mother also claims that she was not informed her son was being taken to the school's police department. And I think that's another big issue. But this is one of those cases where people are going to split over accountability. Should the student have hit the teacher? No. Should the teacher have retaliated? No. And should the school and police have handled the aftermath differently? That's a yes. At least a probably. But that's crazy. And I'll let you see it one more time.
Slapping a Summer Creek middle school teacher during an altercation last Friday.
That's middle
Wow,
school.
like why did this happen? Why did they take it this?
After a student airdropped it to several classmates. The video shows a 7th grade male student slapping a Summer Creek middle school.
Talking shit, getting clicks. We live. Let me throw him up there. From flight to fight, black heroes who changed the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the wrong man up here. Let me put the right guy up there. There we go. This is Milton L. Olive III, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice. And if you give me a second, I will explain to you. All right. So now you have to imagine this opening scene. It's black and white footage of the Vietnam War. You got soldiers marching through the jungle, and then there's an overlay of text that says October 22nd, 1965, Phu Cuong, Vietnam. I don't know. It's like the only sound effects ever. I want to show you somebody. Hey, Auntie, P.O.E., Kato, love. What's good, everyone? I don't think I got to say hello. Thanks for tuning in to me this evening. Right now, we're talking about Milton L. Olive III, and I have a little affinity of doing a little Black History Month for my soldiers and troops out there. And let me just tell you about my man here. All right, so honestly, between you and me, heroes aren't born, okay? When I'm thinking about heroes, they're not born, but they're made in moments that demand everything. And today, we remember a young man who at just 18 years old made the ultimate sacrifice. His name was Milton L. Olive III. Now, Milton was born in Chicago in 1946. He was raised between the city and Mississippi. Milton was quiet but determined kid, and life wasn't easy, especially after his mother passed away when he was young. And his father, being a World War II veteran, raised him with a sense of duty. And I think that is maybe what pushed him to join the Army to become a paratrooper with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. Do I got a picture of that? I do. Yeah. He was airborne. He was airborne. Did I draw my airborne picture? He was airborne. Now, by the time this October 22nd, 1965 rolled around, Milton wasn't on his first rodeo, and it wasn't his first mission. Olive and his squad were on search and destroy operation in enemy territory when the unthinkable happened. That's right. A Viet Cong grenade landed in their midst. Now, in that split second, most people would run. Jump, hide, get out of the way, get down, get low. But Milton L. Olive III did the opposite. What he actually did was he grabbed the grenade and without hesitation pressed it into his chest and smothering the explosion with his body. Amazing, right? In that moment, he didn't think about himself. He was thinking about the guys next to him. Now, his Lieutenant James Shine, would go on to say that he saved his life and the lives of 3 other men and that there was no question about it. And he didn't hesitate. He didn't think twice. That's what was said of Sergeant John Foster, who witnessed this incident. Now, President Lyndon B. Johnson at the time presented Olive's family with the Medal of Honor. Now, for his bravery, Milton became the first black soldier to receive the Medal of Honor during the Vietnam War. His father accepted it on his behalf. But let's be real, no medal, no ceremony, no words could truly ever capture what he gave that day. If you think about it, he was 18 years old. Milton didn't live long enough to have a family of his own, but his legacy, that's forever. I mean, the men he saved carried his memory. His name is etched in parks, streets, and history books. But here's the thing, heroes like Milton, they're not just like names on a plaque, they're people. And they lived, they laughed, and in the end, just like Milton, they gave everything. So next time you hear Milton L. Olive III, don't think of a war hero. Think of an 18-year-old kid who made a choice that most grown men wouldn't. And for that, we honor him. We live with Mo 3 times, talking shit, getting clicks, from flight to fight, black heroes who changed the game. You guys are liking what you're seeing or hearing right now. Do me a favor, throw me a quick little like. What's up, Tormenta? Throw me a like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're doing this for the rest of our lives here. It's Black History. We're celebrating it every week from here on out. But today we're talking about Bessie Coleman, Milton L. Olive III, and John Mills. Yo, so the way I came across Milton L. Olive was like when I was in the Army, there was always stories, especially in like boot camp, of people sacrificing. Especially, I remember we had to go through the, like the other day, I was watching somebody on YouTube go through the grenade drills, and when you take the grenade, you pull the pin. There's usually like a brick wall, like a little bunker there, and you got an instructor with you. And when you're in the school or whatever, you pull the pin, you throw it, and you just get your ass down. That's what you're doing. That's how you pass that course. Pull the pin, throw the grenade and get down. And I remember, like, I took the grenade and I threw it, and I tried to see how far I was throwing it, because, you know, I'm competitive like that. And I kind of got tackled into the wall, like, yo, get down. And luckily, I got down. But even, like, talking about grenades, there's always a story of, I know a guy who jumped on a grenade to save his platoon, and in researching it, this is the first name that actually came up, and I was surprised. I was like, oh, I didn't know. And then just to find out that he was, you know, he was, obviously you should be awarded a Medal of Honor for like that if you're sacrificing your life to save your squad.
Look at me out here dodging raindrops.
But yeah, it was just interesting information I thought I'd share with you guys, because it's not just me, it's we live episodios. Oh yeah. All right, so we talked about Trump selling American citizenship certificates for $5 million. I ain't got it. Yo. All right. So check this out. I know it's one of these stories, but check this out. Check this ish out. Oh, they got two of them. Oh, should I do that one? I might be able to do that one. Let's see if this one gets a good one.
Why do dental hygienists choose Stevocaine for needle-free comfort?
I love how easy it is to use and the efficacy of the product.
All right, that's an advertisement.
Yes, so this is the story of somebody who died on a long-haul flight, and then they needed somewhere to put the body, to put the corpse. So they basically used one of the vacant seats to situate this dead body for the remainder of the flight.
That's not the dead body, that's the man who was sitting in the...
Well, I noticed the man is staring very, very decidedly straight ahead, trying not to look
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Is right, I mean, goodness me.
Is it almost worse having them in a body bag? I don't know. I don't know whether
I'd rather just... And would the body begin to smell?
Well, not after. It's only about 4 hours. So,
yeah, but then there's fluids that they can regurgitate and all sorts of things goes on.
Well, apparently they had to land in Doha for the health authorities to come on and take a look at the body, but they opened up the body in front of this poor couple.
Did they take the body off at
They
that
did
stage?
eventually take the body off, but they wanted to take a look at it first. So that couple weren't moved along, and they took a look at that body. So
I suspect
traumatizing for everyone.
Coming.
Yeah, potentially.
Probably.
Has that ever happened to you? I mean, have you ever been on a plane or train or whatever and someone has died beside you?
But that is common practice. I was listening to a podcast the other day and an air hostess was saying, you think that we put them in the toilet, you put the body in the toilet, you don't. You just have to find a vacancy, as you say.
I suppose you need to leave the toilet available.
And put them there. But anyway, we're out of time.
Yeah, they're out of time, but I got a little bit of time for this.
Why do dental hygienists choose Stevocaine for needle-free comfort?
Close that out. So, to tell you what's going on, Qatar Airways was running a Weekend at Bernie's operation. That's what they were doing, basically. Imagine paying like premium prices for your seat just to end up in an impromptu episode of Weekend at Bernie's. Now, let's break this down. There's a whole human being dies mid-flight, and instead of moving them somewhere discreet, I don't know, offering the traumatized passengers new seats, the airline just threw a blanket over the deceased human being like he's a Halloween decoration. Nah, don't worry about it, mate. Just scoot over one seat. Excuse me. I don't know about my accent. I was trying to do the accent anyway. Mitchell and Jennifer, these were the people that were, there was a couple on the flight, and their names were Mitchell and Jennifer. They paid for a ticket to Venice, not a front row seat to some type of real-life existential crisis. And then, as a final result, airport personnel wheels the body off with the face still showing. It was a lady. It was a she. And at this point, I mean, why not just toss in some mood lighting? Play Highway to Hell over the intercom. That would have rocked out. And the best part, Qatar Airways, they can send 12 emails a week reminding you to upgrade your flight. I know. But suddenly, when you ask, hey, why am I sitting next to a corpse? It's for hours. Customer service is not to be found. And on the other hand, I would try to give Qatar Airlines the benefit of the doubt. I mean, handling a death mid-flight isn't exactly covered in your standard customer service 101 manual. I mean, planes do not have morgues, and the crew just can't yeet a body out of the emergency exit while the plane is in flight or taxiing in or anything like that. Anyway, there's protocol that dictates that the deceased stays put. I researched this. Usually in their original seat, unless there's space to move them somewhere more discreet, like business class, which, let's be real, it was probably full of people who paid not to sit next to anything remotely disturbing. You would have been freaked out if you had to sit next to a body on a plane. If you had to sit next to a body on a plane, you'd have been freaked out. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I didn't pay to sit next to that. Anyway, let's not forget that there was an emergency medical aspect to it. I mean, the crew had to assess the situation, attempt to revive the passenger, and then pivot to full-on crisis mode, which is not easy because you still got to manage a flight full of people, and that's just not easy. Anyway, these flight attendants aren't trained morticians, so if the plane was full, these were options that were limited. Now, I've never, ever heard of anything like this happening before. That's the reason why I picked this one out. Aunt Cherry says she would have been freaked out. Now, the couple did say that there was empty seats, and they wanted to know why they weren't moved, and that's probably where Qatar fumbled the bag. So if there were open spots, why not relocate the couple immediately, and then the body I don't know. The body removal at the end where they take her off the plane with her face showing like it ain't nothing. That reminds me of what's that movie with Denzel and Russell Crowe? He's a drug dealer. He's Frank Lucas. Remember in the beginning, the junkie ODs in the house, and he's in there, and the dirty cops are in there, and they're like, yo, just open his eyes and make it look like we're just taking him to the hospital, because if these people find out we killed him, he's dead, and then there's going to be to pay. I think that's the type of move they tried to play. They tried the weekends of Bernie, that lady, like she was just going to the medical center and not going down, to the morgue. So, I mean, I don't think Qatar Airways was completely reckless, but they weren't anywhere near as good at this as they probably should have been. That's all I'm saying about that. That's all I'm talking shit. Getting clicks. From flight to fight, Black heroes who changed the game. We have spoken about Milton L. Olive and Bessie Coleman. We have John Mills. He's coming up later on in the show. It is something flashback. It is something that would have freaked me out. See what the couple look like. I think there's a picture of them. Oh, here they are. Where's my chocolate milk? That's them. Oh, I'm sure I can see it, but you guys can't. That's over there. Peeper. Boom, boom. Mitchell Ring and Jennifer Cullen. They were on that plane. Next to a ball day. Yo, do you guys, hold on. In the chat, tell me. Oh, this might work. In the chat, can anybody tell me who this is? Oh, it has the, it tells me. Why did I do that? Hold on. All right, this tells you who it is. All right, maybe if I do it this. Bam. Anybody? Anybody know who that is? Anybody know who that is? No? Yeah, that's Enrique Tarrio. Yeah. Yeah. Enrique's been having a crazy couple years now. Crazy couple years. All right, so he was recently pardoned by Trump. Let me shrink this. All right, so this is Enrique Tarrio. He was born in Miami, Florida, 1984. He is an American far-right wing activist known for his leadership for the Proud Boys, which is a neo-fascist organization that promotes, engages in political violence in the United States. Okay, so he identifies as Afro-Cuban. There we go. All right. And he grew up in Miami's Little Havana neighborhood. Now, in 2004, at the age of 20, Tarrio was convicted of theft resulting in community service and probation. Now, in 2012, he faced charges related to the resale of stolen medical equipment, and he was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison. Now, he served 16 months, and during this period from 2012 to 2014, Tarrio reportedly acted as an informant for federal and local law enforcement.
Don't argue.
I think I got a new button here.
This is not a banger.
Sure isn't.
Look at the face.
Look at the face.
Look at the face.
Look at his face. Now, he acted as an informant for the federales and local law enforcement, and he assisted with a plethora of investigations. Now, Tarrio joined the Proud Boys in 2017 after attending an event in Miami. Now, at this time, he quickly rose through the ranks, becoming the organization's chairman in 2018. Now, under his leadership, the group became increasingly involved in violent confrontations and far-right demonstrations. Notably, Tarrio was not present during the January 6, 2021 attack. There's conspiracies saying that it's because he was with the Feds snitching on what was going to happen. But 2 days prior to the event, he was arrested and barred from Washington, D.C. However, later he was convicted on seditious conspiracy for his role in orchestrating the events leading up to the attack and was sentenced to the double deuce in prison in September of 2023. Now, as we all know, January 20th rolled around, executive orders were getting signed, Mans was pardoning people, and President Donald Trump granted clemency to Tarrio and numerous other convicted in connection with the January 6 events. Now, following his release, Tarrio expressed intentions to pursue political office, considering that he wanted to run in 2026 or 2028 elections. But just this month, shortly after a press conference near the Capitol, Tarrio was arrested on charges of assaulting a woman who was protesting the gathering. Now, this incident underscores the continued contentious nature, obviously, of this dude right here. Let's get him one. He's smiling. Let's get him one. He was getting arrested the other day for assaulting the woman. Now, I think his activities and leadership have been a focal point of controversy. His involvement with the Proud Boys and subsequent legal issues have drawn a shitload of media attention and reflects broader societal debates about, political extremisms and the boundaries of lawful protests and everything like that. But what I want to show you right now is him being in his element, and that is being a dick.
You guys for bread.
You guys are assholes. No? Please just back off.
You know who's an asshole? Somebody that sits in sentencing and laughs while I get sentenced to 22 years. That's an asshole. You were brave on Twitter, and your buddy was brave on my sentencing, and he was laughing when I got 22 years. And now you don't even want to look my way, you pretend I'm not here, right? Yeah, keep it walking. Keep walking. Come on, go.
You guys.
Go.
fun.
He's a Proud Boy.
You guys are brave on the sentence here. Exactly. You laugh when I got 22 fucking years. Now you don't even want to look in my eyes. You fucking coward. You were a coward that day.
Oh, if you guys don't know who's like, look at me in my eyes, you were a coward. That is Michael Fanone. He was one of the Capitol Police officers there on January 6th who was injured and subsequently testified in front of Congress about the occurrences of January 6th. So he was injured while on duty protecting the Capitol against these crazies. And for his troubles, he's been harassed by Proud Boys and MAGA affiliates. He's, he's with the PTSD now as a result of that. And his life has been upended because of that one event. And here he is right now being walked down into the elevator by Enrique himself, the Proud Boy extraordinaire. And they are getting to a little back and forth. Let's see how this plays out. Damn it, man. I went all the way back there. Here we go. All right, we're going to get here. Let's go here.
He's not staying in the hotel. He's not staying in the hotel. He's trespassing.
Oh, here he is.
Just go home. Just go home. You guys are brave on the sentence.
Yeah, they're right.
Exactly. You laugh when I got 22 fucking years. Now you don't even want to look in my eyes.
I mean, on the side of Michael Fanone right now, he did, and his people did like attempt to kill him. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and weep if you get 22. If you tried to kill me and orchestrate the Capitol being overrun and me getting injured and possibly murdered that day, then I'm not going to be sitting there passing out Kleenex for you. I'm going to be he-he-he-ing all over the courtroom. Every time I hit that.
Coward. You were a coward that day. You were a coward after.
Just go home. Just go home. You're a traitor to this country.
Yeah, so are you.
You're a traitor to this country.
You're a fucking traitor, piece of shit. That's why they fired your ass, and that's why your own people turned on you, piece of shit. You ain't your fucking boy over here. You fucking failure.
Go home.
The other one's another fucking a little failure. Run from me, motherfucker. Run from me.
He's not staying in the hotel. He's trespassing.
You fucking piece of shit. Run from me.
Fuck you.
Oh, you can say that while you're over there, motherfucker. You didn't do shit.
Yeah, he called him a effing bald-headed bald-headed bitch. Man. Been in and out of trouble damn near all his life. Becomes a leader of the Proud Boys, 2018. Helps orchestrate January 6th, the insurrection. Is found guilty. Given 22 years. Then he's pardoned. Oh, no. Then the president has to win the presidency because the Harris, or if it was Biden, they weren't going to pardon him. So he had to pray, Trump wins, and then he gets pardoned, and then after that, marches right back into Washington, D.C., where he assaults a lady who's protesting all the BS that he did, and then after that, he walks down one of the key witnesses in the congressional hearings that helped get him those 22 years in jail. That's kind of crazy there. That's insane. Does anybody have anything to say about this? Let me know. Assaulted the woman. Oh, and then the following day, this was what, the 22nd, just this week. The following day, the bomb threat was there was a bomb threat called in under his name, said Enrique T. While he was out there. Now, obviously, he says he didn't do it, didn't have anything to do with it. But a bomb threat was called in. They said they had multiple pipe bombs placed all over around the facilities, and then police had to come in there and had to do the sweeps. But they were having a Principles First Summit, which is a center-right political conference in Washington, D.C., and that means, and while they were there, the threat was reportedly made in Tarrio's name. So, yeah, I don't know if he made that threat, but the way he's acting is nuts. It's nuts. Love, he's acting like that because he's a bald-headed bitch. Not me. There's a full medley of hairs under this cap. So you know. Enrique, word association, Enrique, cartels, Enrique cartels. That's right. The United States has now added Mexican cartels to a list of foreign terrorist organizations. As you can see, this is different outside the United States. Damn, I had it here because there was a list of all of them. But yeah, 6 cartels were added to a list as part of Trump's plan to wage war on drug trafficking groups to address fentanyl crisis in the U.S. Who did they add? Let's see. Who was added? I mean, I'm going to say it was all the cartels. All right, so these are the cartels that were added to the terrorism list. Just give me a second here. I had a little. We got the Sinaloa cartel. Ooh. Yeah. Wow. 3 hours ago, a Sinaloa cartel leader extradited to El Paso faces life in prison. We're getting our... What's that movie? Love. We was just watching it. It's one of my favorites. Sicario and Sicario Part 2. Come on now. Damn. The founder, El Mayo, discusses U.S. politics. But it looks like Micha lands in El Paso for trial. Sinaloa heavyweight faces life in prison. That's nuts. They got him. He looks like he don't look like he runs a cartel, bro. The guy in at the end of Sicario 1, when Benicio's there at the family table with the gun, he looked like back in the day, he was on top of the tower, chopping off the heads for the thing, Apocalypto style. Anyway, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a.k.a. the CJNG. Let's see what they're looking like here. These guys. Ooh. They got, it looks damn near G.I. Joe font up there. Yep. That's 2 of 6. The Gulf Cartel. Now, I've never heard of the Gulf Cartel. Sorry about my ignorance here. But hell, Mexico captures Gulf Cartel leader. When did this happen? Let's see a date. Juan Rodriguez Garcia was arrested in a wealthy suburb of northern industrial city, Monterrey. Yeah, it's nice over there. Oh, that was like 10 years ago. All right, so the Gulf Cartel. We got the Cartel del Noreste, a.k.a. the Northeast Cartel. There's a splinter group from the Los Zetas. That's what they are. The Los Zetas. I know I'm not doing it with the boogie I'm supposed to be doing. Let's check these guys out. Oh, look, they're biting off of the CJNG with their fonts here. I don't know about that. Ooh, that's a Toyota. That's definitely a Toyota. Probably a 4Runner, quad cab. Nice. Here they go. Yep. Then we have Na La Nueva Familia Michoacana. I am butchering these names. No disrespect. No disrespect, cartels out there. I do not want the to have my torso split and my upper body folded above my upper body, and then I drown in my own armpits. I don't want that. If you guys want to do a quick little. And then the carteles Unidos, the United Cartels, I guess. They're a coalition of smaller cartels collaborating to combat the rival CJ&G. So CJ&G might be the ones. There they go. Now, it says the designation allows U.S. authorities to apply enhanced legal and financial measures against these organizations aiming to disrupt their operations and financial networks. However, the decision was sparked concerns regarding potential diplomatic tensions and the implications for migrants who may be coerced into interactions with these other groups. So they're probably going to use the Patriot Act because a lot of these cartels do go back and forth from America into Mexico. So there's going to be, now that they're slated as terrorist organizations, it's going to be easier for for the FBI to freeze accounts, for them to get suspects extradited, or possibly because they're a terrorist organization, you could just go get El Jefe, whoever's in charge of the cartel, and put the black bag over his head and take him off site. Take him to Guantanamo to do some enhanced interrogation techniques, aka waterboarding.
Okay. It's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad.
I mean, but while we're going after these cartels, which are dangerous, which do have the drugs and the human trafficking involved with them, we have to understand, I had to ask, are there any black, white, Asian, or other national groups that are also labeled as terrorists? And I found that there are a lot of white nationalist groups that have been designated as terrorists, such as the Base, the Adam Waffen Division, the Russian Imperial Movement, Blood and Honor, which is a white supremacist network with neo-Nazi ties, and they're designated terrorist entity in Canada. And and then there's black nationalist groups, which are the Black Panther Party, Black Hebrew Israelites, and the New Black Panther Party. None of those guys are listed as terrorist organizations. Even with the Shirinko in Japan, Abu Saif in Philippines, and the East Turkestan Islamic Movement, they are designated by terrorist organizations around the world, United Nations and China and so forth. But it is amazing to me that we're going after these cartels when the FBI and law enforcement has been saying that the greatest threat to American security is homegrown white national terrorist groups. And, with people throwing up hand gestures that are kind of in that are reminiscent of 1940s Germany. And because we have Kanye West going up and putting up Nazi t-shirts, even though it's like a little social experiment he was doing, and people are actually with him on that and backing him up on that. It's kind of scary times, guys. But I want you to remember, during Black History Month, there's no black group that is labeled as a terrorist organization. Not the ones that you say are militant, not the ones that you say are scary, not the old Black Panthers, not the new Black Panthers, not the Hebrew Israelites, and not the Nation of Islam. None, they're not. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm throwing that out there. I'm not trying to be smart, but I'm not being dumb either. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I believe we deserve another techno break real quick. Talking shit, getting clicks. I am Mo 3 times, and if you're with me on the We Live, you already know We Live. We Live. That's an applause for you. Milton L. Out III gave everything. I can listen to that on loop for the rest of my life. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Oh, what button is this? Do I have a new button?
And I know a hole when I see one.
No, that's an old button. I just haven't labeled that yet. I thought I made a new button. I made a new button. I was on Twitch yesterday. Hold on.
What's up, people? Here we are back in the talking shit, getting clicks.
You already know. I haven't even looked at the phone lines. I haven't looked at the phone lines. The white nationalist groups. Oh, hold on. Oh, check this out. All right. Oh my God, this is crazy. All right, so this is what is his name? His name's Feinberg. What's his first name? I want to say Steven, but I'm probably messing that up. Not Kenneth. Yeah, it's got to be Steven. All right, check this video out. This is Senator Mark Kelly, former astronaut. I believe his wife was shot in her head by the boy Jared Lautner, I believe his name was. He's one of the first guys that like came out when the Congress lady was in Arizona doing like little town halls, but she was doing that at a shopping center. She got shot in the back of her head, and they were saying it was this dude. They had his name, but I didn't, you know, I'm a visual guy. That's why I throw up the pictures and everything. And I was like, yo, what does he look like? What does he look like? This is back in, like, probably 2009, 2010 when this happened. So I'm searching, and they're like, he's from this town. So I go to this town, and his whole thing was that he shot her back in the head, and he had a manifesto about how the literacy rate was dropping in children. So I went to the local town and went to the local town's library website, and I was like, oh, he had to be involved with the library, and found his face. And I found it, and I like posted it on Facebook, I believe. I think it might have been Facebook. It might have been MySpace back in the day. Anyway, I posted it, and then like 2-3 hours later, I seen that same picture that I posted going all around the news, and that's when I was like, yo. I should have started back then, right? I should have started back then. Go Birds, just in case you don't care. But all right, anyway, it's Senator Mark Kelly, and he's going to ask a simple question to the Deputy Secretary of Defense nominee, and let's check it out.
Invade Ukraine?
I got to do it again, because...
Did Russia invade Ukraine?
Well, going to my behind closed doors statement a second ago, I'll just say this.
They moved tanks and troops and armored personnel carriers across the Ukrainian border. It's a pretty simple question.
Yeah. Well, here's how, if I may, I'd like to
If
say,
you would ask the chairman of this committee if Russia invaded Ukraine, I'm pretty sure, the Republican chairman, I'm pretty sure I would know the answer. Mr. Feinberg, did Russia invade Ukraine?
well, going to my behind closed doors statement a second ago, I'll just say this.
They moved tanks and troops and armored personnel.
Yeah, we're getting it. So this is during a confirmation hearing that just took place yesterday, the 25th, and that's Stephen Feinberg trying to answer or not answer a question who, basically he declined to explicitly state whether Russia invaded Ukraine. I think that's a big problem because we're over here and we got our president of the United States calling president of Ukraine a dictator when it seems like he's just more misinformation, more retelling of history while in the midst of the exact history. It's crazy to me, all right? So, when he declined to state whether Russia invaded Ukraine when pressed by Senator Kelly, I mean, he also would go on to express reluctance to comment, citing concerns about ongoing negotiations and undermining those ongoing negotiations that are being led by Donald Trump. He also stated, "I'm not privy to the details of the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, so I'd be afraid to speak out of turn and undermine that." Right? Looks kind of bad when you're looking at this real. Now, the stands true criticism from several senators, one being Mark Kelly himself, who emphasized the clarity of the situation, stating Russia did in fact invade our ally Ukraine. They moved tanks and troops and armored personnel carriers across the Ukrainian border, which is facts. Oh, not that button. Just the regular old for facts. Let the children yay for facts, all right? Now, despite the verbal reluctance, Feinberg's written responses to State Armed Services Committee referred to Russia's actions in February of 2022 as further invasion. Now, this I can't even talk. I can't talk. Ambiguity. There we go. And Feinberg's testimony has raised concerns about the administration's position on Russian aggression and its implications on U.S. policy. And my thing is, like, we see this all the time. Like, how can he answer like that? Is this ish normal? Is it normal? I mean, and I would think that to answer that question, that the response is unusual. But come on now. I've seen a couple of these hearings, so I can tell you it's not unprecedented. It's like high-level government nominees, you know what I mean? And especially those for the defense and diplomatic roles, they're often trying to avoid that direct questioning. And because there's a lot of politically sensitive questions during confirmation hearings. And there are a few reasons why someone in Feinberg's position might dodge a straightforward acknowledgement that Russia invaded Ukraine. My 5 reasons would be maybe it's just a Senate confirmation tactic. You know, some nominees intentionally give non-answers to avoid controversy. Or it might be a lack of foreign policy background. I don't think so, because unlike previous nominees for top Pentagon positions, Feinberg is a businessman who does not have any direct military or diplomatic experience, so he might be hesitant to engage in complex geopolitical issues, even though we all know that Russia, in fact, invaded Ukraine, and he knows that from his acknowledgement in 2022 about that. But he could also be avoiding political fallout. You know, he doesn't want to alienate certain political allies, particularly those in the Trump administration who are been seen adopting a softer than baby poop stance on Russia. Now, a lot of times it's just a strategic ambiguity. I'm gonna like have a bad dream tonight. Some officials believe that keeping the responses vague allow for more, flexibility, and this can prevent backing the U.S. into a corner on future negotiations. So even though we're looking at him like, yo, bro, just answer the questions, when you're looking at it on a worldwide stage, these are little tactics that actually could prevent the U.S. From being backed into a corner on future negotiations. But really what's going on, I think, is the administration is messaging control. I mean, so if President Trump is pursuing negotiations with Russia, which I think that might be the thing, then Feinberg might be trying to avoid contradicting the White House's position or making a statement that could be seen as inflammatory, and that is the issue here. I mean, like I've been saying, I don't know if this was last week's subject or anything like that, but people are like, what are the Democrats going to do? Are they going to wait for 2 years for midterms or whatever? They're not doing anything, and I don't think it should be really on the Democrats to do anything other than what they've been doing. You can resist. You can vote the way that you're going to vote in lockstep. You can try to appeal to those 3 or 4 Republicans that you need to break those votes. But honestly, if anybody's responsible for this administration right now, I think it should be somebody from the Republican side, one of their leaderships or one of their new-blooded individuals that steps up and spearheads the efforts to have something done with what the Trump administration is doing. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Don't put it on the Dems all the time. That's their job to do that. But put it on each and every congressman, senator, Supreme Court justice, cabinet member to do the right thing and uphold the Constitution. And obviously, Aunt Sherry says it correctly. She says avoiding the wrath of the orange one. She ain't lying. She ain't lying. She is not lying. So, with that, it is my great privilege to show to you Mr. John Mills. Mr. John Mills, ladies and gentlemen. Let the children sing. I'm searching. Give me a second. All right. Here's the story of this man here. His name is John Mills, and he has a corporation called the Alex Brienne Corporation, which is named after his daughter. And basically what he wants to do is unearth hidden histories. So John Mills' journey is into genealogy, and he was driven by self-discovery and a desire to break generational cycles of internalized bias. And he was raised in the 1970s in California with a father who emphasized Black pride, but Mills found himself often struggling with subconscious biases in adulthood, prompting him to investigate their origins. Now, his sister introduced him to genealogy in the late 1990s, and if you know what genealogy is, it's basically researching your roots, researching your history or other people's history, and trying to just go back as far as you can in your family tree to find out who you are and where you came from. And one of the cool things about genealogy for John Mills himself was that that curiosity led him to uncover the history of his enslaved ancestor that went by the name of Ned Mills, and who was actually freed on Juneteenth, which is June 19th, 1865. Now, this revelation sparked a deeper mission to reconnect Black Americans with their roots, combat the historical erasure of enslaved individuals, and restore a sense of pride in Black ancestry. John Mills is not Milton L. Olive III. He is not Bessie Coleman. He is alive and with us today and making strides, not just for Black history, but for mankind worldwide. Now, I think the power of genealogy, when thinking about it, I think the power of genealogy is like a tool of self-discovery. It's like a historical reclamation, if you will, and it's a breaking of cycles of generational curses. I think Mills' work emphasizes the importance of reclaiming the Black narratives, restoring lost family histories, and instilling a sense of pride in one's ancestry. You know, despite the systemic efforts to erase the Black historical presence, his mission, to me, I see it as not something about the past, but something that helps shape the future, where Black Americans feel connected and empowered by their history. But what I will do for you is I will let John Mills give you a little taste right now. He went on the Kelly Clarkson show not too far back long ago. He was on there with Aisha Tyler, and let's check it out.
Right.
What inspired you to do this work?
Well, I grew up in California in the 70s, and my father of the time in California, the Panthers, US organization, my father aligned to those messages that they were sending with regards to making sure that you were proud of your skin color and your features and your hair. Yeah. And so we tried to instill that in me.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, I'm a little older, I have a daughter, and I realized while I was in the workforce, I wasn't presenting that way. Like, I had biases against myself. And I saw white Americans as a little more valuable. Like I had to self-interrogate when I realized that was the case. And that freaked me out. And I didn't want that, my daughter to someday come to that same place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did I come to that place having this father that was
How did you get programmed to thinking that?
How did my mind get to that? So I wanted to figure out how to stop that. My sister introduced me to genealogy in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And she started digging into our family, and I started getting a pride as I learned about things. Like my second great-grandfather, who was enslaved in Texas. He's from Georgia. He was brought to Texas.
Yeah.
And his name was Ned Mills, which taught me now where my last name came from. It's just like the last name of the last enslaver, right? And so, yeah, that started me on this journey of
Did not put that together.
Yeah, definitely. One more children. I mean, so I basically told you, why he is my choice to be spotlighted on tonight's show. It's because he's still with us here. He's live in the flesh, and he's just doing a little part to help the black community, the black culture, just a little bit more, amongst other people. He's helping people out here find their roots, and I don't know. There's a it's not Frederick Douglass. We just did a show on him. What's his name? I'm giving hints. He had the Black Star Line. 1920s. The government hemmed him up for taxes. He wore a funny hat, like a Commodore's hat. You guys know who I'm talking about? Huh? Anybody? Anybody in the chat know who I'm talking about? Funny hat. Marcus Garvey. A people without knowledge of their past origin and culture is like a tree without roots. Like a tree without roots, and that is why we are applauding, letting the children sing, and hitting air horns for John Mills and Alex Brienne. A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. And ladies and gentlemen, that goes for everybody. You should know all of the things of your history. You should know the goods, the bads about your people, and you shouldn't be ashamed about that. Because, like when we talk about reparations, I think a lot of the white people who are against it have it right, but in a wrong way. No, the right part is no, you were not here. You weren't the one flicking the whip. You weren't the one separating families and putting on brands and making alligator baits and doing crazy stuff like that. But if you refuse to look at your history, whether it's good or bad, your triumphs and your toils, then this is what we get. We keep going around and around in a circle. Let's graduate to something greater. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am Mo 3 times, and this is our show for this evening. I will see you guys back next week, and I'm going to hit you with the techno going out. Appreciate for everybody for coming in. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Don't forget on your way out, throw me a like, and if anything was interesting in this, share it with a friend. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. Talking shit, getting clicks. On the Talking Shit, Getting Clicks network on YouTube. But we live, that's what we're doing. And our show for this evening was From Flight to Fight, Black Heroes Who Changed the Game. Don't you forget. And also don't forget, on my way out, don't forget, check this out. I know I pop up here like once a week, but I got a whole channel and a whole slew of good shows going on here. Look at this catalog we got going on here. I can scroll through this thing. I remember when I would scroll, it's like 2 lines. But we got some stuff going on here. And also, hold on, let me shout out myself. I've noticed. There's talk about flying cars going on. There's talk about utility fees in here that we've spoken about. I mean, there's a lot of things that go back on these shows that are prevalent and relevant and today and right now. So, you know, if you're bored and I'm not on, take a little trip through memory lane and see how your boy has been giving these takes out and the information I've been given and compare and let them know you're doing well around one. All right. With that, I'm out. I'll see you guys next week or before that. But you're not going to know if I'm on before if you don't hit those alerts. Do that too. All right. More techno. Hit him with a groovy.
Groovy.
Let the children sing. Let the crowd clap. Air horns. Thanks for showing up and showing out for me. See you next week.